I should have built a bigger shop. Welcome back to the Lost Cause Ranch. That's right, today we're back playing with the American thing. Last time you guys saw this, we switched up the rear notch on the frame. With that being done, the frame is nearly ready to be painted and all finished up. Before that point though, we need to rip the cab off. But before the cab, we need to fit the box on it. Like I said in the last video, we have owned this thing for 12 years. And in that 12 years, this guy's never been on it. Not even sure it fits. The frame under this guy was originally a long box, and as you can see right there, the previous owner sliced it, cut it down to short box length, but that doesn't mean the short box actually fits. So before we get this thing all boxed in, prettied up, and painted, we need to make sure that fits. And along with that, Sasha is gonna fit up the front end because we're not exactly sure this stuff fits either. So hopefully by the end of today, this guy looks like an actual truck. So Sasha doesn't want to get up from her union break, so I guess I'm tasked with getting the front end on. I suppose I should probably put the doors on first. Might be a little easier. You know, the doors that I kind of ran over. First time I gotta do that on this truck. How exciting. So I kind of completely forgot about this part of the truck. So prior to us getting this, it had this goofy front end done, which is why we have the new black fenders. Previous owner converted this guy to a tilt front. That's definitely some 90s mini truck stuff. But no, we're gonna go back to stationary like it's supposed to be. So I need to get new radiator support mounts. But no, it was pretty goofy. Right about here on the front fenders, it was cut at an angle and the front part of the fender flipped up with that. So the original fenders were junk. Thankfully, they didn't cut the hood up, so we still have that. The plus side of things. Complete this has looked under my ownership. Maybe a guy should have did this 12 years ago because it looks pretty freaking neat. Probably would have had the motivation to finish it if I would have known it looked cool. Like I've always said, dumbest person I know. So this is kind of interesting fitment wise, because the hood is bolted to the fenders are bolted to the truck cab, and the radiator support, which is bolted to the frame. So there's about a million different adjustments to get stuff to kind of line up. That's nice. And right now we're just going for kind of fitting, because it's all coming back apart. Needs a hood latch. Would you just look at that? Look at how neat that looks. This is why I never touch anything, because my whole intention was to get this rolling, running, driving, and sell it. But now I want to keep it. But I have a problem because now I want to keep it. That's a cool old truck. I mean, can you imagine cruising down the road, Sasha hanging out the passenger window? We even have our blanket seat cover. Would just be a neat old truck. But now we are on to seeing if that guy comes anywhere close to fitting on this. We obviously have some work to the frame done there. We lowered our notch. So let's get the tape measure out. All right, like I said in the beginning, kind of flying blind here as we've never had the box on this. I think this was just here when they cut the frame apart to brace it. So we'll remove this. Then we'll do some measuring and see how much, if any, we have to cut. Because it may be pretty close. I mean, it may not fit at all, but it may be close. When I redesigned the C-notch, I kept it as low as possible with the hopes of being able to save the box floor. Let's see how close we got. I'm not exactly sure on this guy at the moment. It's obviously not a factory piece and it's just kind of tacked on there. So I'm not sure if that's in the way of the box or not yet. So we'll just leave it obviously there to keep everything squared up. These here up front are one of our box mounting points. I'm not sure if they're in the correct location because these would have originally been further back in the frame. But we're gonna see how much clearance we have from this to this and head on over to the box. So we got about 4 inches, which I don't quite think is gonna be enough, but we're gonna shimmy under and find out. So I'm just gonna run a straight edge across our bottom supports. We got 3 inches, so I don't think that's gonna work. Story of my life, but we're an inch short. So if we run this across our 2 mounting surfaces there, make things more complicated and add another straight edge here, and drop the tape measure. We are there plus this. We're about 4.5 inches that we need, and we have 2 7/8. So I guess after all, we're doing some cutting. So now what I'm gonna do is verify that this mount is in the correct location with the box. So to the back of the cab, we're 4.5 inches on center. And from the center of our mounting rail, we are 4 inches. So that would give a 1/2 inch clearance between the box and the cab, which sounds about right to me. So that's right. So if that's in the right location, I want to measure from the center of that hole back to the start of our C-notch here, and that's 26.5 inches. We'll check it here as well. Also 26.5 inches. So we'll measure 26 inches back from the center of the rail and begin our cut there. And then after we do that, then we'll go back another 20 inches and cut on the back side. Total width is 38.5. So we'll probably just go and maybe leave this outer rib here and this outer rib here and cut our rectangle out of the center. Let me grab a tape measure and make sure that works. So that gives us about 40.5 inches. So by Joe's math, that should work. Just sprayed it off and it's already full of leaves. But this hole here is the center of that front mounting channel. So we're gonna do our measurements starting off of that guy. And I think I remember saying 26 inches, but that was a whopping few minutes ago, so I forget. But we're gonna go with that. And I just laid our level across those holes. So we had a straight edge to mark off a few different lines. And now we'll take that straight edge and mark across here. Whoa, kind of forgot the trailer tips. So yeah, good thing Sasha's still on her union brake, and it's getting slightly dangerous around here. Look who popped out. I think she heard a safety violation going on. All right, now we can take that line and measure our 20 inches back. And we'll just double check that that's white. Ow! That was my finger. About 40 inches, so maybe a little tight, but we can always cut more. So while I got the flying wheel of death in my hand, I'll have to make sure I don't step too far back and tip the trailer again. We're the epitome of safety around here. At least I have safety glasses on this time. So we just have a support brace to cut here and here. We'll just use the Sawzall. Maybe. Yeah, plug the battery in. So I don't think it's gonna hold water anymore, but we clearanced it a little bit. And even though we lightened it up right there, I don't think I'm gonna be able to lift it myself. So that's it for tonight. Ted's gonna come over in the morning, give me a hand. And to tell you the truth, I'm not even sure that I'm capable of lifting it with Ted's help. When we put it on there, I kind of broke the tail light. That was my side. Like I said earlier, I always seem to come up an inch short.
Size, taller
we got on the other side. Bar have to come off. So as it turns out, that bar does have to leave. More scrap. Well, that didn't work out half bad. The hole I cut even fits. We got decent clearance all the way around. And right there you can see the height difference. But what we'll do is make some new sheet metal to cover that up. A little bump up, probably go from wheel well to wheel well, but that will still allow the box to be used compared to what we had on there before. So we have what looks like a complete truck, and I think the stance on this guy is pretty cool. We got a little bit of tweaking to do on the suspension and maybe bump it up a ½ inch or so, but this thing looks freaking killer. So now we just need to come up with some rear mounts for the box. The rear cross member was chopped apart to fit the short box. After that, this guy is ready to blow back apart and finish that chassis off. Thankfully, by that point, we'll have this thing all built up to assist us with taking it apart. With that being said, appreciate you guys watching, appreciate you subscribing. Sometimes we even work on some neat American stuff, but we will catch you on the next one. Probably about some American stuff in some British stuff. No one would even notice. I mean, maybe a little bit.